Hey guys, in this video we are going to solve the problem count good prefixes from CodeChef. So let's start with the problem. So we are given an integer n and a string s. Now the string s consists of a and b, and we are also given a string t which can be formed using n and s. Like if we concatenate s n times, then we'll get string t. And in the problem we have to count the number of prefixes in t such that the count of a is greater than count of b. Let's see this with an example. So let's say we are given s equals to a, b and a, and we are given n equals to, let's say, 3. So we can form t using s and n. Like if we take s one time, we'll get t as this, and then if we take s two times, then we'll get t as follows, and this with 3 times. Now we have to count the number of prefixes such that count of a is greater than count of b. So let's see all the prefixes here. So in this prefix we can see that count of a is 1 and count of b is 0. So this is a good prefix. So I will increase my answer by 1. Then I will see this prefix which consists of 2 elements, and in this prefix we have count of a equals to count of b. So this is not a good prefix. Then we will see the prefix of length 3, and we can see that this is a good prefix. So we will just add 1 to our answer, and this also is a good prefix, and this, the length of prefix is 5, and this is also a good prefix. So we'll add 1 to our answer. Similarly we can go up to the total length of t, and this is just a brute force method. But in the problem we are given the length of string s up to 10 raised to power 3 and n up to 10 raised to power 9. So length of t can become up to 10 raised to power 12, which is not at all optimal. So we have to apply some other way so that we don't have to do this many calculations. So what can we do here is, we can see 3 cases here. The first case is when count of a equals to count of b in string s. Let's see what happens in this case. So let's take s as like a b b a b. So in this string count of a is equal to count of b. Now let's see the good prefixes here. So this is a good prefix. I'll just put a tick mark when the prefix is good and a cross when the prefix is bad. This will be easy. So this is a good prefix, and this is also a good prefix. This is a good prefix, and we can see that this is a bad prefix, and this is a good prefix, and at last this is a bad prefix. Now this is when we take s equals to 1 times. Now what if we take s 2 times? So let's see what happens in that case. Now this is 1 time, and let's take one more. Now we can see that this is a good prefix, this also is a good prefix, this 2, and here we can see that this is a good prefix, good, good, bad, good, bad. So we can see that the index at which we are getting good prefix when the count of s is 1 is the same when we take it 2 times. So these all cancels out. Actually, like count of a is equal to count of b. So it doesn't matter if we take another s and more s It's just that if we can find the number of prefix for a single s, then we'll just have to multiply the answer. Let's say here the answer is log, so our final answer will be log times n. So this is the answer when count of A is equal to count of B in the string S. Now let's see case 2. So case 2 is when count A is greater than count B in string S. Now let's see what happens in this case. Let's take a string like S equals to A and B. Now let's count the prefix when the occurrence of S is 1. So this is a good, good and good. Now let's see what happens if we take more and more S. So if we take S 2 times, now what happens in this case? Actually I want to show you something. Let's take another S. Let's take S equals to ABA. Now let's see what happens if we take S 2 times. So we'll have ABA and ABA. Now we can see that this is a good prefix and this is a bad, this is good, good, and here we can see that this is also a good prefix. So the second index, which was earlier a bad prefix, can later become a good prefix. And what if I take it 3 times? And here also I can see that this is also a good prefix. So what I can see here is that the index which was earlier a bad prefix can later become a good prefix. So now what I'll do is, let's say if S is S1, S2, S3, S4 up to, let's say, some Sm, and here Si is equal to A or B. Now what I'll do is, for each index I will find the number of S required so that it can become a good prefix. And for that, let's say if we are trying to find the number of S required for some index J, and let P be the occurrence at which this index will become good. So we have S plus S plus S, S, this is P minus 1 times, and also have some S up to index J, Sj from S1. Now let's count the number of A's here. So I will denote the number of A's with total A and number of B's with total B. Now let's see what is the total number of A's here. So first of all, let's find a prefix array. So in prefix array, what we'll have is prefix of I will be, let's say if we are finding for A, now prefix I for A will be the frequency of A up to index I in S. So this will be prefix of I. Now total of A will be prefix A of I, not I. This will be, let's see if the length was M, so this will be M, prefix A of M times P minus 1 plus, now here the number of A's will be prefix A of J. Similarly total of B will be prefix B of M times P minus 1 plus prefix B of J. So these will be total number of A's and this will be total number of B's. Now we have to find the first occurrence at which this index become valid. So for that we can do total A greater than total B. Now we can also say that total A becomes greater than equal to total B plus 1, right? Now total A is pre A of M times P minus 1 plus pre A of J greater than equal to pre B M times P minus 1 plus pre B of J, right? Now we can see that P minus 1 is common, so we can write pre A of M minus pre B of M multiplied with P minus 1 greater than equal to pre B J. We also have 1 here, so I will just add 1 pre B J minus pre A J plus 1. So P minus 1 would be pre B J minus pre A J plus 1 divided by pre A M minus pre B M. Now for the smallest possible P value we can take the seal here, so it will be pre B of J minus pre A of J plus 1 pre A of M minus pre B of M. This will be equal to P minus 1, and this minus 1 can come on the right hand side. So our P will be this formula. Now for every J we will have some P, like if I have S equal to S1, S2 up to Sm, then corresponding to this I will have P1, P2 up to Pm, and my final answer will be like the this any index becomes valid after the P, after the corresponding P. So my answer will be like if the total number of S are n, right? So if it becomes valid at some P, then this will be n minus P, and this must be taken. So our answer will be n minus P1 plus 1 plus n minus P2 plus 1 up to n minus Pm plus 1. It will become like I equals to 1 to m n minus Pi plus 1. So this will be our final answer, and we have to take care of the corner cases here, like if P becomes negative or P becomes greater than n, then we will have to take care of that. Now let's see the third case. So in the third case we will have count A less than count B. Now let's see what happens in this case. So count A is less than count B, so it can be like A, B, B. Now let's see what happens if we take S 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, etc. So S will be A, B, B, sorry, this will be T, A, B, B, A, B, B and A, B, B. Now let's see, this is a valid prefix and this is not a valid prefix, this also is not a valid prefix, and this also here is not a valid prefix. So I can see that some index which was a valid prefix earlier can later become invalid. So to find this, what I can do is that I will see when it will become equals to b, right? So let's say total a equals to, let's say if we are taking p terms total, and here like this, and these are p minus 1 times this is s1 sj, right? So total a will be 3a of m times p minus 1 plus pre-a of j, and total b will be pre-b of m times p minus 1 plus pre-b of j. Now what we have to do is we have to see that when total b is greater than equal to total a. So total b is pre-b of m times p minus 1. I can see that p minus 1 is common here, so I will just write pre-b m minus pre-a m times p minus 1 greater than equal to pre-aj minus pre-bj. And now p minus 1 is greater than equal to pre-a of j minus pre-b of j divided by pre-b of m minus pre-a of m. And for equality I can take the upper bound here, so that will be pre-a of j minus pre-b of j divided by pre-b of m minus pre-a of m, and this one will come to the right hand side. So this is our p in the third case. Now let's see how we can find the answer. So I have s equals to s1 s2 up to sm, and p up to p1 p2 up to pm, right? Now my answer is like the sum index was earlier valid and later become invalid. So let's say if this is p1, so I can add to my answer p1 minus 1, because from the p1 position it becomes equal to count of a becomes equal to count of b, so it becomes invalid at p1. So it is valid up to p1 minus 1. So our answer will be p1 minus 1 plus p2 minus 1 plus pm minus 1, and it can be written as pi minus 1 and I from 1 to m. So this is our answer for the third case. So that's it for this video guys. I hope you like it. Thank you for watching.